Good afternoon, ladies and gents, and we are in Rye Castle, which is also Rye Town Jail. We're going to start at the top and work our way down. There's quite a lot to this one, actually. For a small car, it looks very small from the outside, but there is more to it than you would think. Guard rope. We've seen these in the Tower of London. Basically a medieval and Norman toilet. You'd do your business in there, and it would fall outside into the onto the cliffs and probably be eaten by seagulls. Or washed away, because bearing in mind when this was built, the sea came right in to Rye, so yeah. The reason there's clothes hanging up here is because this is called a privy or a guard robe. A lot of people called them a privy, but because of obviously what it was, it really stank of ammonia, very, very bad. So people would hang their clothes in these to stop the bugs and lice and whatnot in them, and moths and things like that, which isn't very nice. Privy. Having to turn around very carefully because these stairs are trick stairs. As you go up them, this thing here, if you're right-handed like most people are, prevents you from striking out with a sword. But if someone's coming up towards you, you can defend quite easily and thrust and cut and stab down. That's one part of them, and the other part of them is each step is made a different height, or was made a different height to the other. Trick stairs. They were very, very clever, the Norman architects, and ruthless. Basically, it was to make people hopefully trip over and fall on their own sword. And this, if that didn't work, then this helped. Quite what happened when they came against left-handed people, I don't know, but being left-handed in those days was actually really, really strongly discouraged, because it was believed to be a sign of the devil. So, unfortunately, a lot of children, when they showed signs of being left-handed, they had it beaten and whipped out of them, and probably became right-handed quickly. Right. So let me go down, going to here. This has served many purposes over its long life, obviously. Originally a castle fortification and town jail. Played a big role in the Napoleonic War as well, so that's what we're going to see now. And what I like about these uniforms is that some of them actually know who they belong to and everything. It's brilliant. Think of the history of that scene. The gentleman downstairs said to me, the museum that goes with this castle is usually only open on the weekend, which I didn't know, so I may have missed that one, but he did say to go and try it, because you never know. So I'll do that after here. I wonder if he was any relation to the Mayor of Rye, who Lamb House was built for. The Mayor of Rye, his surname was Lamb, and that's who Lamb House was built for. I wonder if there's any relation. Let's go around these bits because you get a bit less reflection. Reflection, unfortunately, is a live streamer's worst enemy. Cinqueport Volunteers, basically like a militia army, you know, like the Home Guard kind of thing. Stairs are really, really precarious, so if you are unsteady on your legs, be very, very careful in here, because, as I say, they were specifically designed to trip people up. That's what they were designed for. So if your enemy was invading, hopefully they'd fall on their own sword, as I say. And that big stone bar thing, that dealt with them if they didn't. Right, that's that. Got a fireplace here, of course. Dog plates, I think they're called. They basically put them there to reflect the heat back out into the room. Like a rudimentary radiator, but they're normally really decorative. Yeah. Ah, see, I tell thee. Oh, look, a spit. You put meat on there, several joints of meat, and a spit boy would sit and turn that handle around, turn it back and forth, and it would roast the joints of meat. If you read any Tudor things and whatnot on that, even the French, who weren't that friendly with us, actually said about the English meat that they roast their meat in perfection. See, we call a roast dinner a roast dinner, but it's not really roasted, it's baked. I learned all this from a book. Not that I'm particularly knowledgeable, but there we are. As Manuel from 40 Towers would say, I learned it from a book. Ah, this is what I wanted to show you. What we saw in the church the other day, the sanctuary knocker. When someone needed sanctuary in the old days, and particularly in medieval times, so it didn't matter what crime you'd committed, murder, theft, robbery, rape, you could run to a church, knock this knocker or touch the altar cloth and claim sanctuary. And for 40 days the church would shelter you inside the church, and no one could touch you. After you, if you weren't found innocent, you were ordered to adjure the realm, so you would have to leave the land, and if you didn't, then you would be executed. But a lot of the time what happened when the people came out to adjure the realm, the people that were hunting them dealt with them. King Edward, the grandfather of Henry VIII, was one of the first kings to break sanctuary at Tewkesbury. And he was never trusted again for it. And by the time King Edward's men had finished at Tewkesbury Abbey, it was so bloodied and full of corpses that it had to be scrubbed and re-sanctified, which was not very nice. I love the model ships here. This is basically a model of Romney Marsh. You can press all the buttons and everything, but Martello Towers, which we've seen. Man traps. Hide one of those in the foliage and whatnot. Open it up and whoosh, you are caught. Very nasty. I say, how unkind. Not very nice, is it? This one I may do in parts, so because it takes too long to upload it all otherwise. One of the rooms in here, which is on this floor, I really like because it's got talking things in there, and there's a poem in there by Rudyard Kipling, I think. I think it's by him, could be totally wrong. But yeah, it's really good, and it's read out by an older lady in it with a very strong Kent accent, or Sussex accent, so that's nice. Yeah, glass is filthy. Trying to get you all the descriptions. Scrimshaw, that carved stuff's called. Whalebone and ivory and all that. Sailors used to, oh there we are, so the description, make them for their wives and girlfriends and lovers and that, and they did used to sell them as well. A lot of, in the Napoleonic times, a lot of the French prisoners of war made things out of bone, which are like little miniature spinning wheels and cribbage boards and all sorts. Very interesting. And they were allowed to sell them so they could make a little money, because you couldn't survive in a prison in those days without a bit of money. You didn't get set meals and everything like that. Oh, the rolling pins. Love token rolling pins. These were given by sailors to their loved ones when they came home. The rolling pin would have been full of salt, which was expensive at the time. Yeah, salt was valuable at the time. And being near the coast, a lot of the women's work was to go and collect buckets. They'd do it right by the sea. Go and collect buckets of seawater and boil it down till you got brine, and they'd create salt. Emma. Oh, what a shame that you can't make out the names properly. Rye. That's a shame. You can see where it's been really rudimentarily done. You can't make out the names. 1858. And this here is the crumbs and biscuit cheese. It's one of the jail cells that they would have used in those days. So, and bearing in mind the windows didn't have glass. So can you imagine being in this in the depths of winter? This is where the men were kept. And there's a separate woman's jail, but that wasn't built till later on. But that's good in there as well. I'll tell you later. Gosh, how horrid. Wouldn't like to spend a night in there even with glass. It's got a nasty, unpleasant feeling to it, this bit. Same as one of the bits downstairs. Normally I start downstairs and work my way up and then work my way back down again, but done different today. Look at that for a door, look how old that is. You have that clang shut on you and you would definitely know about it, wouldn't you? Wow, look at that. I'll open it back up in a second. Think of the history that door's seen. Look at the old latch and everything. I won't touch the latch because it's under plexiglass, but look at the original locking plate and everything. That's brilliant. That's it. So open the door carefully. Oh, big gnat came from behind there. Coopers, barrel makers. Just pause to read the descriptions. The Rye Bank blunderbuss. Christ. Yeah, blunderbusses, they were lethal. They were used on board ships as well, also known as deck clearers. Because you could load anything into them, like bits and nails, broken glass, shrapnel, and bang, and there you go. Be it known, it is 123 years since this bell was last heard on the streets of Rye.
That's 1850 something.
May God bless old England and the ancient town of Rye, and may God save the Queen. Ancient, see the way they spelled that? I love that. It's the older spelling. And this hasn't been changed yet because it's got God Save the Queen, look. So they'll have to change that to God Save the King. Town Crier's Bell. Now let's bit up. Edwin Hollis Pulford, old and faithful servant of the corporation, sergeant at Mace, and town crier of Rye. His bells, 1877 to 1899. That's him when he was younger, and this is him when he was an older man. He's got quite a nice, like, welcoming, cheerful face actually for a Victorian, and can. Although the myth is that they were a miserable bunch of people. Ah, here we are, the Mary Stanford. I meant to catch this as a separate piece the other day in the church. I did get it in the whole recording, but didn't do it separate. These are all the men of the Mary Stanford. And then I can do a screen recording of this and add it onto the Mary Stanford thing. I did. There we are. Brilliant. I'm glad I'd forgotten that they had that here. Sorry, thank you. The models of the boats are brilliant. Cooper's tools. I like that Cooper made and repaired casks and barrels. I only know what a Cooper was because one of my ancestors on my dad's side was a Cooper. And he became a sawyer, which is sawing wood and like that, really. A lumberman, what we'd call him. Let me back it up. Quack Pills, Dr. Quack Pills. There's a quack doctor buried in Southwark Cathedral. Lionel Lockyer, I think. Yeah, his name's definitely Lionel, and I think his surname was Lockyer. Dr. Lockyer's pills. He became so well loved, though, that when he died, people made sure he had a really decent burial and a really fine memorial. So maybe his pills worked, you don't know. Or maybe he was just such a chancer that people had to love him for it, you don't know. Also on my dad's side of the family, Popkiss, the name was, they were originally Dutch Jews. Edward Popkiss, my 4 times great-grandfather, he was a customs house officer. Gravesend, Kent, and then they moved from there to London. Why on earth I do not know, but obviously for the work, I should imagine. But unfortunately, he caught typhus. Well, what they were doing is, we don't know if him and his wife separated, but she rolls up in America with their son, and he has stayed in London. We think that he may have been saving up the money, sent him and the daughter and the mother, then was saving up to send himself. But in the meantime, he caught typhus and died. And we don't know to this day whether they actually separated, Mary Ann and Edward Popkiss, or whether he sent his wife and daughter first, and then was saving up to send himself because their son already lived in America. And unfortunately, the wife and daughter, when they got to America, both died within, it was 2 years of each other from TB. So yeah, this is the room I like. I don't know why, but it's always got a nice feeling to it as well. Number 1, I hope this is working. If this isn't working, I'm going to scream.
A Smuggler's Song
Brilliant.
by Rudyard Kipling. If you wake at midnight and you hear a horse's feet, don't go drawing back the blind, nor looking in the street. Them as ask no questions, they ain't told a lie. Watch the wall, my darling, while the gentlemen go by. 5 and 20 ponies trotting through the dark, brandy for the parson, baccy for the clerk, laces for a lady, letters for a spy. Watch the wall, my darling, while the gentlemen go by. Running round the woodland, if you chance to find little barrels, roped and tarred, all full of brandy wine, don't you shout to come and look, nor use them for your play. Put the brushwood back again, and they'll be gone next day. If you see the stable door setting open wide, if you see a tired horse lying down inside, if your mother mends a coat cut about and tore, if the lining's wet and worn, don't you ask no more. If you meet King George's men dressed in blue and red, you be careful what you say and mindful what is said. If they call you pretty maid and chuck you neath the chin, don't you tell 'em where no one is, nor yet where no one's been. Knocks and footsteps round the house, whistles after dark. You've no call for running out till the
Mermaid in.
house bark. Trust his ear and pinch his ear, and see how dumb they lie. They don't fret to follow when the gentlemen go by. If you do as you've been told, likely there's a chance you'll be give a dainty doll all the way from France, with a cap of Valenciennes and a velvet hood, a present from the gentleman, along of being good. 5 and 20 ponies trotting through the dark, brandy for the parson, baccy for the clerk. Them as ask no questions, they ain't told a lie. Watch the wall, my darling, while the gentlemen go by.
I love that, that's brilliant. That's one of my favourite poems, and I will check in a minute who it's by. The Smuggler's Song, yeah, Rudyard Kipling, oh, I was right. Read by Dilly's Mayor for the Museum. Let me ask if that lady credit. They do each a different one. The Mary Stamford lifeboat disaster. We'll cover that, and then we'll end this one and start part 2. Didn't know you could turn the volume up.
And it was pitch black, well, early morning, blowing and raining. They had to, find their way through the field, and they all managed to dodge the boat, and got it off, and then they had a signal, return signal, say it was, it wasn't necessary. It was supposed to have been had help otherwise. They was coming back to the harbour when it turned over.
Now this is a story I'm reluctant to tell of the Mary Stamford lifeboat and a journey to hell. A courageous crew, how little they knew on that sad November day they would never pull through. There were lights to be seen from the sea, grabbing clothes, and those lifeboatmen never folded in their stride. So at 5 a.m., 17 brave men raced down to the shore to answer the call. The Alice of Riga was swiftly going down, and in a terrible storm the crew was sure to drown. Their lives to the sea, from the seas, grabbing claws. And those lifeboatmen never folded in their stride. By the time they reached the lifeboat, they could barely pull her down, so vicious was the storm. By the third attempt, the Mary Stamford, she was launched, and this gallant crew set the sails and grabbed the oars. There were lights to be seen from the seas, grabbing claws. As the Mary Stamford lifeboat gathered speed in the dark, the Coast Guards launched a flare. You're not needed anymore. You must return to the shore. But the crew could not hear above the street of Borough, and carried on regardless into the storm's very core. Their lights to the sea, on seas, grabbing walls. And those lifeboatmen never folded in their stride. 17 brave men disappeared into the night, never to be seen again until the dawn's early night. And when the Mary Stamford lifeboat was seen floating upside down, and the first on that cabin crew washed up upon the sun. Eyes to the sea, on the seas, grabbing claws. And those lifeboatmen never folded in their stride. The clergy and the women folk prayed upon the shore, but the sea does not discriminate between the good, the bad, the poor. She cruelly took away the lives of 17 brave men, and sent them to a salty grave, but we will remember them. There were lights to be seen from seas, scrubbing claws. It's like boatmen that never faltered in their stride. Now the Mary Stamford lifeboat house stands empty and forlorn. They close the doors and that's the
Oh, it's the things we just saw, the tablet things.
Signified and dignified, this building stands alone. We bow our heads in silence.
Oh, it's a hydrometer, testing the proof of spirits. My mistake. Not quack pills.
From the seas, scrubbing claws. Those lifeboatmen never faltered in their stride. Now this is the story I'm reluctant to tell of the Mary Stamford lifeboat and a journey.
There we are. I'll finish this floor off because there's 2 cabinets here, and then I'll pause my phone, go outside, let the phone cool down because it's getting rather warm, and I don't like that. Brandon, if you watch this one, you know exactly what I'm thinking. Look at this. Thank God that he isn't here because he'd probably try and nick that, wouldn't he? Crazy, some bloke that we don't know, but he lives in our area called Crazy Pirate Man. He kind of dresses like this sometimes. Also dresses like a pirate. This revolver. Helmet box. For gunpowder for your musket or guns before you had percussion type bullets. Belt and pouch. HMS Rye, this is one of my favourites, this. And this phone is pretty good because it does cope with the reflection a lot better. So I'm pleased with that. The first HMS Rye was built in 1696 as a 32-gun 5th-rate warship. Some Rye-built ships in the Faroes. Just pause to read.
Chinese came and locked themselves in here while the French raided and burned the town down.
Revenge.
After 3 days they saw the French going away, so then they dared leave until the Independence Day. And that was, you know, so it was a big white elephant. And as soon as they turned it into a prison, was the message. That's when it started coming in. I thought the Second World War.
That's right.
Britain took that over there, didn't it? Well, they got armed in the war. Yeah, it wasn't here.
So what I mean about just the levels of history that this little town holds. There we are. Cover the architecture of the room because some people like that more than the history stuff, architecture. So we'll try and do a little something to please everyone if I can. Right now, guys and girls, we are going to go outside, so I'll get you as far as there, pause before stop the video, start another one which will be part 2, access to viewing terrace, because this phone needs to cool down, it's getting hot. So here we go, and join me again outside. I'll just give you a quick whip of this room. I like to cover everything if I can. Wunderbar. Nice views. Better views from outside though, so join me outside in about 5 or 10 minutes once my phone's cooled down. See y'all soon, y'all.